For centuries, they've been a house of strength. Now, the headlines, the scandals, the betrayals, the prince and the palace in a high-stakes game. Will the House of Cards come crashing down? Royals in Crisis, a Sky News investigation.
Breaking news from the UK. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have announced they will step back from royal duties.
For those reasons, it brings me great sadness that it has come to this.
I think it's staggering, jaw-dropping.
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly.
It's a family crisis. Big mistake, massive mistake.
I think it's a cataclysmic moment for the royal family.
You can't really have your cake and eat it. You're either a member of the royal family or you're not.
We could see a complete breakdown of relations between Harry and Meghan and all other members of the royal family.
This is a critical time for the monarchy.
The palace has to move forward and modernise itself.
It's the 21st century. Do we still want these sort of people that just get to where they're going because they're born into it?
It has survived war and rebellion, national and international crises. It's steeped in centuries of tradition and renowned around the world. The United Kingdom's royal family is the institution which has been the bedrock of British society, but it's now experiencing, arguably, one of the most tumultuous moments in its history. The royal family, according to many commentators, is in crisis. Family members are feuding. Some have even sued the press. Prince Andrew faces sex allegations, while 97-year-old Prince Philip has been in and out of hospital. And now Prince Harry and Duchess of Sussex Meghan have officially ditched their royal titles, and to the shock of all, including the Queen, they've left the country. The so-called Sussex Saga, or Megxit, may be the final straw which forces drastic changes to the monarchy. Tonight, in this Sky News special report, we'll hear from those close to the royal family. We'll profile the key figures and explore the impact of Megxit. How the Queen is trying to keep her family together amid incredible internal and external pressure, and how this centuries-old institution is bound to change. Like a house of cards, the House of Windsor is in a precarious position. One wrong move could see it topple. Charming, clever, and notoriously cheeky. Prince Henry, Charles, Albert, David has always had a special place in the public's heart.
Harry's a very charismatic character, but also I think we feel we know Harry. We've grown up with Harry.
He often tops the polls with regard to which member of the royal family is most popular.
The second child to future King Prince Charles and the so-called People's Princess Diana. His every milestone was broadcast to an adoring public. From the first day at school to family holidays and devastating loss.
Circumstantial evidence at least that the driver lost control while driving at very high speed.
An overwhelming memory people have is of a young boy having to walk through the streets of London behind his mother's coffin, and the trauma that must have been for him.
Of course, at that time, both Harry and William were young men without a mother figure, and for much of British society, they felt, they local parentis, that they were the mother figure in both of those children's lives, and the British public has seen both Harry and William grow up to become the established figures that they are today.
While brother Prince William's teens and 20s were more traditional by royal standards, Harry had a wild side. There were drunken nights out, fights with photographers, leaked photos of him wearing a Nazi costume, and others wearing nothing at all.
You know, that was Harry. We forgave him an awful lot because he'd been through such an awful childhood trauma, but also we wanted someone who was a bit naughty.
I mean, here in Australia, we think of him as an honorary larrikin. He's very much, he's got very similar essence to the Australian spirit, and we really respond well to that.
The military seemed to straighten him out. Harry undertook 2 tours of Afghanistan during 10 years of service with the British Army.
No one really knows where I am, and I prefer to keep it that way for the meantime until I get back in one piece and I can tell them where I was. At the moment, I think they think that I'm tucked away, wrapped up in cotton wool.
His support for the military continues to this day, most notably as ambassador for the Invictus Games. But while he was focused on his many royal and charity commitments, the public longed for the prince to find his princess.
First and foremost, the public wanted Harry to find someone to love and who loved him.
After at least 4 long-term relationships, Prince Harry found someone special. Someone he deemed worthy of his love and of joining the royal family, but whose addition seems to have brought serious instability.
Mike Ross? Hi. I'm Rachel Zane. I'll be giving you your orientation.
Wow, you're pretty.
Good. You've hit on me. We can get it out of the way that I'm not interested.
No.
She was the television star, thrust into a fairy tale story. Millions knew her as Rachel Zane, the young lawyer trying to make her name in the Big Apple in the popular TV series Suits.
Your mind, it's amazing.
Thanks.
But actress Meghan Markle would land a considerably bigger gig and fan base. After meeting Prince Harry on a blind date and joining him on royal duties in late 2017, he popped the question.
Was it an instant yes from you?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I could barely let you finish proposing. I said, can I say yes now?
She didn't even let me finish. She said, can I say yes or can I say yes now? And then there was hugs and I had the ring in my finger and I was like, can I give you the ring? She goes, oh, yes, the ring.
When Meghan first came on the scene, there was a lot of surprise, of course. Here was Harry marrying an American, not someone that was from his immediate group of friends. But it was also very exciting, the idea of this sort of breath of fresh air. She had that little stardust, that celebrity pizzazz, and I think it certainly brought this air of modernity to the royal family and a lot of, as I say, stardust.
The American, mixed-race, divorcee, 3 years Harry's senior, was far from the typical royal wife. Her arrival on the scene reportedly sparked biffo between the brothers.
There was a feud. The two brothers have been warring for the past 2 years, and it's all started with the comments that William had allegedly made, that just asking Harry if he was sure, just to use a little bit of caution about marrying Meghan, because compared to William's long courtship, where Kate was called Waity Katie, the Harry and Meghan romance was really only about 18 months before they sort of dumped in the deep end. So William and Harry just haven't been able to see eye to eye.
And as the press probed the future princess's background, they found and aired plenty of dirty laundry.
There is growing outrage after Meghan Markle's own brother begs Prince Harry to cancel the royal wedding, writing, "It's not too late. Meghan Markle is obviously not the right woman for you," writes Thomas Markle in a shocking handwritten letter he sent directly to Prince Harry.
Mr. Markle was supposed to have walked her down the aisle, but in the days leading up to the wedding, it came to light he had been paid to pose for tabloid photos of him preparing to travel to England.
We are learning that Meghan's estranged half-sister Samantha was behind it all. For Meghan Markle, this is just yet another embarrassing storyline about her family.
And now the Markle patriarch says he's willing to do anything to exploit the royals and make a dime.
The royals own me. Harry owes me.
In a long-running campaign of critical coverage, the press shamed the Duchess for breaking from royal traditions, being too demanding and generally unfit to hold a royal title. For actions Prince William's wife was praised for, Prince Harry's was decried.
I do think the media treatment of her has been unfair. I do think there have been double standards, you know, things that other royals do. Meghan and Harry were picked up for, but Meghan especially. I mean, there were other elements of the media, and that's social media. And social media is a whole new ball game for the royal family. There's some really, really ugly, vicious, racist commentary that went on.
Critics suggested there were racist overtones to the tabloid's tough treatment, while some royal watchers say she'd been rude to royals, particularly the Duchess of Cambridge.
There's been a lot of stories about how she was behaving behind the scenes. She was being rude. Apparently the Queen had checked her for her manners. Kate had become in tears after Meghan had criticised the dress that Charlotte was going to be wearing for the bridesmaids.
Meghan's comments to the press were seen as not keeping with the royal tradition, that princesses are meant to be seen and not heard.
I am here with you as a mother, as a wife, as a woman of colour, and as your sister.
I don't know what the impact on your physical and mental health of all the pressure that you clearly feel under.
Yeah, well, I guess, and also thank you for asking, because not many people have asked if I'm okay.
And the answer is, would it be fair to say not really okay, since it's really been a struggle?
Yes.
With the monarchy, we don't really want them to have political opinions. The monarchy is supposed to be above politics, and actually it felt like she wanted to use her position to put forward her political views, and that rubbed off on Harry, and that was, I think, the fundamental problem.
The thing that really probably struck in most people's jaws was that they started to preach. The royal couple wanted to literally have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to be out there saying what people should do with their lives and reduce their carbon footprints and only have 2 kids to save the planet. But then at the same time go on holidays to France in private jets. And it was that hypocrisy that really started to increase the criticism of them.
The feud between the Sussexes and the British media came to a head late last year. Meghan claimed the tabloids were out to destroy her marriage. She sued the Daily Mail, while Prince Harry denounced the press for waging campaigns against individuals with no thought to the consequences. "I lost my mother," Harry wrote, "and now I watch my wife falling victim to the same powerful forces." The birth of Prince Archie in May 2019 gave the couple greater cause to take an unprecedented step.
Not only completely unprecedented, but potentially, it undoubtedly has very serious consequences.
A post on a social media site would shake the centuries-old institution to its core. On their official Instagram page, Sussex has announced,
"After many months of reflection and internal discussions, we have chosen to make a transition this year in starting to carve out a progressive new role within this institution. We intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent while continuing to fully support Her Majesty the Queen. It is with your encouragement, particularly over the last few years, that we feel prepared to make this adjustment. We now plan to balance our time between the United Kingdom and North America."
Breaking news from the UK. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have announced they will step back from royal duties.
Bombshell news. It is an extraordinary statement.
The Sussexes are on their way out as working royals.
Sources within Buckingham Palace using words such as hurt and disappointed at the way that this announcement was made.
A shock decision which would dominate the headlines for days. Everyone had an opinion on the saga, which was dubbed Megxit.
Big mistake, massive mistake. I'm a royalist. I like the royal family, so I think the woman has got him. He's controlled by Meghan, and that's sad.
I think maybe they need to think it through a bit better.
She's took over, hasn't she? Do you think so? Most definitely, all women, isn't it?
I just have such respect for the Queen. I don't think this should be happening to her.
And there are a lot of her critics simply saying now, you are doing to the royal family what you have done to your first husband, to your career in television, and many significant others around you, including members of your family.
Even Meghan's estranged father kicked the boot in.
She actually got every girl's dream. Every young girl wanted to become a princess, and she got that. Now she's tossing that away for money. This is like one of the greatest long-living institutions ever. They're destroying it.
The aggressive public response even forced Madame Tussauds to remove the couple's wax figures. Royal watchers suggested the Sussexes had snubbed the Queen.
Certainly the Queen and senior members of the royal family are deeply concerned about the way that Harry and Meghan have gone about releasing this statement, about how they've chosen to essentially resign from their royal roles. The Queen and Prince Charles are very, very concerned, and understand that senior members of the royal family incandescent with rage, that this is a very, very serious issue, that they've chosen to go it alone.
After eventually meeting with the Queen and senior royals, the couple announced they'd reached a compromise. They would ditch their royal titles, no longer represent the Queen, nor receive funds from the family, in exchange for being permitted to split time between the UK and North America. The agreement will be revisited in 12 months' time.
For those reasons, it brings me great sadness that it has come to this. The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges. And I know I haven't always gotten it right, but as far as this goes, there really was no other option.
Few outside the royal family have been closer to Prince Harry than Arthur Edwards. The Sun photographer has followed the royal around the world for decades. He's been trusted to take some of the most personal moments. He's also been on the receiving end of some of Harry's pranks. He says the couple's decision doesn't make sense.
You know, if they feel that in America and Canada that they're going to be no paparazzi or no newspapers going to want coverage, then they're wrong, because that's their duty. You know, that's their duty to inform their readers what people are doing, and especially people high profile like that. But what really annoys me is that you can't really have your cake and eat it. You can't 1 minute be in America or Canada and next minute be in London. You know, you're either a member of the royal family or you're not. And if you're a member of the royal family, then you've got to work for the Queen.
This is where they appear to be putting up sticks. Vancouver Island, off Canada's west coast. The couple and their young son previously holidayed here, and the locals are welcoming the high-profile potential neighbours.
I'm sure they just want to break away and have a safe haven and somewhere they can live a normal life.
There's a lot of hidden mansions around here, so we're all trying to figure out where they were staying.
But there are many details regarding their living arrangements still to be confirmed, including whether Canadian taxpayers may have to foot some of their bills. Security for the couple reportedly costs $14 million a year, and it may need to be beefed up.
They are targets. They're targets for the good people who just want to get close to them, and they're targets for the bad people who want to do some real harm to them.
The couple is also yet to confirm how they'll earn a living. Business Insider claims the Sussexes already have a combined net worth of $30 million. Prince Harry was filmed pitching his wife's abilities to the boss of Disney. There are reports they've trademarked the Sussex brand and are exploring a deal with Netflix for a TV series.
Well, it looks as though they want to go out on their own to potentially earn millions, tens of millions even, to go and be global superstars. Certainly that their PR advisors that they're talking to have told them that they can use their global status to become very, very, very influential on the global stage. It looks like that by potentially freeing themselves from the royal family, the way that they put it is being financially independent, which is a massive grey area. I mean, how will they maintain their money? How will they maintain their security? Huge unanswered questions, and to be honest, I don't think they even know at this stage.
Edward VIII was the last royal to voluntarily step down so he could marry Wallis Simpson in 1936. Now another American is seen to be taking a British royal away, and some are hoping for heartbreak.
For a lot of royalists, the hope is that Prince Harry will return to the United Kingdom at some point in the future, possibly without his wife Meghan Markle, as of course is paralleled within the story of the prodigal son.
The Sussex Saga is just one of several challenges the royal family is facing. Royal connections to a paedophile ring and public outrage at the response. The Queen's 97-year-old husband suffering serious medical issues as the head of the family approaches her 94th birthday. And less than half the British public have backed her successor.
This is a critical time for the monarchy. It can't be anything other than actually a pivotal moment for the royal family.
Prince Andrew, the Queen's second son, is alleged to have sexually assaulted this woman, Virginia Roberts Giuffre, when she was 17. She wants him charged.
He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth, and I know that's me.
The alleged incident is connected to Jeffrey Epstein's child sex trafficking scheme. Prince Andrew visited the multi-millionaire convicted paedophile in New York and even hosted him at royal properties before his conviction. Andrew has repeatedly denied doing anything illegal or inappropriate. But this car crash TV interview didn't help his public perception.
Do I regret the fact that he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming? Yes.
Unbecoming? He was a sex offender.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm being polite, in the sense that he was a sex offender.
The Prince has since stood down from all royal duties, though the Andrew Epstein saga isn't over.
I implore the people in the UK to stand up beside me, to help me fight this fight, to not accept this as being okay. This is not some sordid sex story. This is a story of being trafficked.
Prince Philip is believed to be in seriously poor health. He was admitted to hospital days before Christmas. The palace said it was to treat a pre-existing condition. He's been in and out of hospital over the past 12 months, and The Sun reports the Prince can only spend around 10 minutes in anybody's company before he feels exhausted. The world's longest-serving monarch now has a mammoth task.
But the nation certainly has confidence in her to be able to keep the house together and to be able to steer the royal family into the future and to remain at the pinnacle of British society for generations to come.
In her almost 70 years in charge, Queen Elizabeth has guided the nation through all manner of troubles and enjoys overwhelming public support. The Queen is perhaps the central pillar, keeping the house together. The Commonwealth could see dramatic change once she's gone.
I think in Australia there's an awful lot of affection for the Queen, and I would be very surprised if we even consider moving towards a republic whilst the Queen is still our head of state. After that, I think all bets are off.
The recent scandals have made many consider the very idea and purpose of the monarchy, as the public questions the relevance of an institution that's a relic of feudal times, where a family is deemed to be ordained by God to rule over all.
It's the 21st century. Do we still want these sort of people that just get to where they're going because they're born into it?
I think 2020 is the year that the monarchy really has to stake its claim on where it wants to go in the future.
There's likely to be far less royal fanfare in the future, with fewer royals receiving lavish, public-funded ceremonies or fronting events and campaigns.
One certainty for the royal family ahead is that it will be slimmed down, and that is how it will modernise, that is how it will be revolutionarised.
I think the royal family is something which develops over time, and perhaps it's time for it to become a smaller institution just focused on the head of state.
I think the royal family would be very much better slimmed down anyway, so I think all of this is a good move.
With Prince Harry and Meghan removing themselves from royal duties and Prince Andrew being effectively ousted due to the Epstein controversy, other royals will be given more responsibilities, perhaps even the 6-year-old Prince George.
I think that's going to mean a lot more pressure on Prince William and his wife, and also on his children. You know, Prince William has tried very hard to keep his children out of the public eye, but we saw a little glimpse of it at Christmas when Prince George appeared in a video with the Queen and Prince Charles and Prince William stirring that Christmas pudding. We have never seen footage like that before of a royal so young in the public eye like that. It may be difficult for those children if they're going to be put in that sort of situation.
Republicans have long claimed the royals are a drain on the public purse. British taxpayers give the royal family around £82 million each year. But the family gives more than 3 times that to the government from profits from Crown estates. And the royals are a significant boost to UK tourism, an industry worth £27 billion a year. Abandoning the monarchy altogether is, at least for now, out of the question.
The British people are rejecting large numbers of opportunities to change, and actually they see that there's no reason to do so. That's certainly within the world of politics, economics, and here within the royal family.
Significant changes to the monarchy appear to be on the cards. It survived major scandals and something of a shuffle of the royal squad. But the House of Windsor shouldn't take stability for granted. Without great care, it could all come crashing down.
We don't like to see our monarchy arguing with each other. We don't like to see our monarchy taking advantage of the very privileged position the public affords them. The monarchy is only as good as the public wanting them to be there. And the minute the public doesn't want them to be there, then of course it's all over.